Hello, everybody. You're very welcome to, I guess it's take two of this information session on water quality advisories, which are affecting the Cove K and Grey Creek water service areas. My name is Aidan Buckley. I work as the Manager of Communications and Engagement at the Sunshine Coast Regional District. I want to start off by acknowledging that the Sunshine Coast Regional District is located within the territories of the Sea Shelton Squamish First Nations. We originally did this information session earlier this month. Unfortunately, due to some technical issues, the session itself didn't actually record to YouTube. We did have 3 people join us for the session itself, the live one that we did. And what we've done is we've taken note of the questions that they asked. We also reached out to some community groups in the areas affected and answered their questions too. So we have a couple of questions, as I said, that came up the earlier information session that we'll ask. The session itself this evening, we've got 2 additional people on the panel. We've got Darren Mulder, who's the Manager of Environmental Health from Vancouver Coastal Health, and Cody Abbott, who is the Superintendent of Utility Operations here at the Sunshine Coast Regional District. Cody and Darren are going to lead us through a quick presentation, just a couple of minutes long. And then following that, we'll ask a couple of questions which came up at the information session earlier this month. So Cody, I believe I can pass the first slide over to you just when you're ready there, just to speak about the water quality advisories and the areas that are affected.
Thank you, Aidan. So the 2 areas that are affected by this water quality advisory are the Cove K water service area and the Sandy Hook Tawanek area, which is from kind of Sandy Hook pump station out towards the rest of Sandy Hook and Tawanek. We will only be issuing this water quality advisory during stage 3 for Sandy Hook and Tawanek, and it'll be in effect until further notice for Cove K.
Okay. And so just speaking about what is this water quality advisory in particular, I mean, Cody outlined the geographic area where it applies to. Overall, the risk is low, but some water users, in particular immunocompromised people, they're advised to take some extra precautions for consuming water, and we'll cover those very soon. But why are these water quality advisories applied to these particular systems? It's because they use a surface water source, so a creek and a lake in the case of Cove K, Ruby Lake for Cove K, and they have only chlorine as the disinfection method, and they do not have a second barrier, a second disinfection step, which typically might include ultraviolet light. So with a single mode of disinfection, there's some extra risk that would be basically posed to some types of water users on those systems. So why is this advisory applied now and not in past years? Well, across Vancouver Coastal Health, other water systems in this situation, so surface water and only one form of disinfection, they've also been requested to issue these types of water quality advisories across other health authorities as well. It is an undertaking that's occurring there. This is also in line with a recent direction from Vancouver's Regional Water Safety Committee that these type of advisories be rolled out for these scenarios. And certainly was done in consultation with the medical health officers, health protection managers, to review this kind of decision. So it ultimately is a best management practice for managing risk, and really also a proactive step, so that we're not waiting around for issues to develop, and we can get this before we take action. So who should take these precautions? It's individuals with very weak immune systems or pregnant. And the advisory essentially is for water intended for the following uses needs to be brought to a full boil for 1 minute, cooled before use. And so those uses would be consumption, drinking, washing fruits and vegetables, or making ice, or brushing teeth. And so if it's not a boil for 1 minute, then commercially purchased bottled water is also an acceptable safe water source for those users.
So some of the projects that we have ongoing to improve treatment at Cove K, there's a design contract of the required upgrades is currently out to tender. And then the upgrades are expected to be completed next year. For Grey Creek, we've been doing a study for the last 2 years to assess the viability of Grey Creek as a long-term water source. The work will be completed in 2025 and results presented to the SCRD board for consideration of next steps. Improvements to the treatment process at Grey Creek would be a multi-million-dollar project. So for, I know this came up earlier for Grey Creek, the viability of a long-term, it's just to make sure that with drought and, you know, future possible drought scenarios, that there's enough water in Grey Creek. That is the viability study.
Perfect. Thanks, Darren. Thanks, Cody. I'm just going to stop sharing now. And I'll just go through to the couple of questions that did come up, as I said, during the information session that we hosted earlier in the month. And Cody, just to clarify, I know that in the first slide you were speaking about the Sandy Hook Twanic area, it's kind of from stage 3 up, right? So it'll be stage 3 and stage 4 that they'd be in the water quality advisory. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
And Cody, just I know a question that came up as people were asking, you know, can you just give us a sense of what treatment is done at Grey Creek and Cove K? So the type of treatment process that they go through.
So both systems have chlorination, and at Grey Creek we also have an intake screen and sedimentation chamber, so it can settle out any heavy particles or anything like that. Both systems are also online monitoring, which means that as soon as chlorine residual or pressure changes, turbidity, anything that changes in the system that could be unacceptable, the system will automatically shut down and the operator will respond appropriately. And then as far as the chlorine residual goes, we dose chlorine at a rate that we've calculated for adequate disinfection. And how that happens is we add enough chlorine and we add enough contact time for the water and the chlorine. And we've calculated that all out, and we add it we err on the side of caution. So if we needed to maintain a certain chlorine residual, we will set our alarm set point higher than that so that it always is maintained at that chlorine residual.
Thanks for that, Cody. Darren, you mentioned earlier, I guess, that these water quality advisories being brought in to kind of, I guess, give alignment to what's being done elsewhere. Could you give us a sense of, you know, what is this the exact same process that's done elsewhere as to what's being done at Grey Creek and at Cove K from a water treatment perspective?
Yes, there is a provincial guidance that asks for all surface water drinking water systems to have 2 forms of treatment. And so, yes, we have other water systems around Vancouver Coastal Health that are surface water source and only 1 form of treatment, say chlorine, for example. So yes, there are other systems out there like that, and they have also been asked to implement these water quality advisories that are directed at immunocompromised persons. So it is a type of advisory that is getting rolled out not just in BCH but across other parts of the province. So there are other similar systems out there like these 2 in SCRD.
Thank you. Cody, I know a question that had come up as well. I was just asking about, you know, why Grey Creek is being brought online in stage 3. Obviously, those areas are currently being fed through the Chapman system. So if we can maybe just give some context as to why is that so.
We're going to be utilizing Grey Creek in stage 3 because it's a way to ensure we have enough water supply should there be a drought condition. It seems maybe a bit strange right now because we've been getting some rain, but the lake levels are still dropping. And we need to just ensure that we have enough water in case we have a long kind of dry period like we did in 2022. And so by using Great Creek, it allows us to retain that amount of water in Chapman and Edwards Lakes, which means that we can, you know, rely on the lakes for longer.
Perfect. Thanks, Cody. And then the last question over to you, Darren, and it's you know, speaking about water quality in the past, you know, obviously you can go online to our website and you can see water quality results for these sources if people want to take a look. But you know, has there been historically issues with, you know, kind of surface water within the regional districts, you know, Great Creek and Cove K in the past?
Well, yeah, there's a significant amount of testing for bacteria levels, E. coli, and total coliforms that occurs on a very regular basis by Cody and her staff. And there have never been issues detected with the treated water. So there's an excellent record of bacteriological sampling for both of these locations. And they also collect a raw water sample as well to get a sense of what type of bacteria would be present, what levels of bacteria would be present in the raw water. And having reviewed that data, that's actually quite good for raw water quality as well. What I've just noticed, I just looked at the data. So so those parameters give some confidence. And also it's just I have a great degree of confidence in the staff of SCRD with the experience that they have, with their ability to detect issues and get on them right away. And they do have a lot of experience, and they have professional staff with the budget behind them to fix and implement solutions when needed and to carry out the regular monitoring. So one piece of additional monitoring that or one type of additional testing is done is testing for protozoans, so detecting protozoan levels at the start of use of Great Creek, for example. So making sure we have a clear lab report for protozoan presence. And so that's a number of the steps that's occurring for just basically allowing these systems to go forth and provide water to the community.
Thanks for that, Darren. Really appreciate it. So for those who are watching, if you're in the Great Creek or Cove K water service areas, in kind of late July into early August, you would receive a direct mail out with, you know, information that has been provided in this session. On that mail out, there's two email addresses. There's infrastructure@scrd.ca, and also Darren's email address is on there as well. So should you have any further questions, feel free to send them on through to either or both of those email addresses. And Darren and Cody, I just want to thank you for your time again this month. Really appreciate it. And with that, we'll wrap it up. So thank you.